Hey guys, I'm Niyathi, as it says on the giant screen. So let's talk about chemotherapy. Because chemotherapy also kills healthy cells, causing terrible side effects such as hair loss and liver damage. But recently, scientists have been able to encapsulate cancer drugs so that they only target cancer cells. That's valuable. And to show you how valuable, we'll use Johnson & Johnson as an example. Their cancer drug, doxorubicin, sells for $25. The encapsulated version sells for $1,000. And that doesn't even have patent exclusivity on it. So this is really, really valuable. They're making $500 million a year off of this. But there's a problem. It's incredibly complicated to encapsulate drugs, and there aren't a lot of facilities in the world that can do it. Recently, actually in 2011, so not too recently, their entire $500 million operation, which relied on one facility, had to shut down. So they lost 82% of their revenue, over $400 million. But that's where I come in. My startup, Amsterdam Fluidics, we are trying to basically create this entire facility on a single chip through nanotechnology, which seems a bit insane because it takes 17 machines and now we're putting it on one chip, but it's actually possible and we're actually doing it. And it basically decreases the cost of production from like $25 to 50 cents, and instead of taking 5 days to encapsulate all these drugs, it now takes 12 hours. So we want to revolutionize the way drug delivery happens, and now we want to make sure that chemotherapy is available to people in countries that you can't transport these facilities to, with these factories and machines. You can take a chip though. You can take a chip made out of plastic anywhere. So it's kind of weird. I'm working with an MBA and a PhD and a master's in science, and I'm like an undergrad freshman, so what am I doing at all there? I'm not qualified enough to be there. But I think it kind of goes to show that the reason you're all here is because you're interested in research in some way. You can be someone who's just like studied bio in high school and comes here as a freshman and just goes to a bunch of events of any buzzword in it. I went to, like, nobody saw me for the first 2 weeks of NSO and life, and like actually several months, honestly. I was just like holed up in a bunch of events, like 7 a week. I would go to anything with entrepreneurship or tech or bio or healthcare, and I would go to stuff like this and just meet people. And I met these amazing people, these amazing individuals who knew so much more than I did. I somehow found a way to help them just because of my passion for it and the fact that I'm able to like talk, kinda. Because what I do is I pitch, which is what I'm trying to make this not be, and then I also manage stakeholders, I acquire investors, and I help build the nanotechnology, which is what I'm here to talk to you about, because I don't want to talk about business, that's boring. And also not important, I just don't really care. But the nanotechnology of it is what's really interesting. So what we did was we actually combined two technologies that kind of work by themselves, but not really, and we found a connection between them. So the first one, sorry it's kind of cut off, the Locatio Laboratory in the National Institute for Standards and Technology, 2004, so a while ago. But they were able to basically, on a nanometer scale, encapsulate these drugs, but super slowly. So you couldn't really do anything with them. It was just like, hey, cool, this kind of works. But then when you combine it with this technology created a year ago at Penn, which is insane, at the Isidore Laboratory, you can actually make it fast enough to be industrially applied, which is what we're doing. We're the first ones to think of combining these technologies, and we're doing that right now. So how it actually works is you have your drug in solution, that's the unencapsulated cancer drug. It's good, but it also targets the healthy cells. And you these are channels in the chip. So that's why it kind of works nanotechnologically. And you have an intersection with pegylated lipids, and then it creates these reverse micelles. And then when you put it with a water/buffer solution, you can actually create this liposome stream, which, it's working, okay. When you kind of have a pressure flow of this solution, creates this focus stream of nanoliposomes, which is the end product of Doxil, which is the one that only hits the cancer cells. So cool. And it actually is a two-step design. So first we make the nano-sized liposomes, and then we load the drugs. So that's kind of, it's just a small chip, easily transportable, costs 50 cents to make, but it's just never been thought of before. So when we're conducting research as a startup, it's different from kind of what you would think of as like wet lab research, but of course we have people going to Cuba and interviewing people, and also like just thinking about the way that transport works. Like you might have seen research is not just like pipetting stuff, which is cool too. Pipetting's fun. But what we have to deal with a lot of different stuff, including the business side. When we fail stakeholders, and we fail people who are like, we've been convincing for months that we wouldn't fail. And then we also are on a timeline. Like, we have to be impressive enough by March in order to apply to the accelerators, or we just wait another year, which possibly could kill our company. We have to deal with FDA approval, marketability, sales, to pharmaceutical companies, which are these giant things that are these entities that are really frightening. But there's a lot of amazing stuff that goes into it too. And getting endorsements like we have from like CSOs and venture capitalists and Penn professors and all these cool people. We've won like I think we're Pennvention finalists currently at the Weiss Tech House. We won the Weiss Tech House elevator pitch competition, second in Y Prize, a bunch of other stuff, Tiger Launch New York. And we have raised like $10,000 in 5 months. So we have like the difficult things to deal with, and I'm currently trying to build all this science stuff and also convince people to give us money. And it's just like a lot of different things to juggle, but it's really, really rewarding. And it's possibly the most extraordinary thing I've ever been a part of and been fortunate enough to do. So just go out there and hope you're cooler than you are, and like just honestly learn as much as you can and tell people that you're learning, and it will be impressive that you're trying so hard. So research is a lot of just like doing a lot of stuff and trying to do it and failing a lot, but keeping on at it. So that's what honestly this has been, and it's been a great experience. So yeah, if you want to ask me any questions, I'll be here too as well. So.